free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
It's a fine Thursday, middle of January, the 16th of January. Hi, everybody. Colin Russo here. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Joined alongside me, Mike Rizzo, as always, alongside Christian Cat. We're live from the City Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Packed show today. Going to be making some picks against the spread with our punchline picks, in which we compete against, theoretically speaking, which you can hear 2 to 4 weekdays on these various stations as well. Against the spread, I believe we are up 4 points. With 1 week to go, so they need to have a near-perfect week, and we need to have a near-flawed week. Let's put it that way. A terrible week in order for them to catch up. Losers getting on stage and doing some stand-ups. Hopefully Christian Cat is practicing his mannerisms and his punchlines and everything that he needs to do to make sure that the crowd is entertained when you do some stand-up, yeah?
I've got my whole set already written out.
You're excited for this. You've wanted this.
I've resigned myself to this fate, whether or not we win or lose, we being me and Theo from 2 to 4 here on this station. And I honestly think you might be generous with the score. I'm pretty sure we're mathematically eliminated. It might be worse than 4. It might be
We had the
worse.
same score.
Yeah.
We were both 2 and 3 last week, no? Because I think it was the same thing from 2 weeks ago. Maybe you're mathematically eliminated. There's 5 points to get. Right. I believe we're up 4, so you need a 5-0.
I'll take it. Sure.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Christian, maybe dive into that. maybe dive into that.
Why,
And let's get
scared?
a for sure. So you bet your ass I'm scared. It's the final week, man.
I thought you had a good material
Anything can
from
happen.
back home.
Partner, anything can happen. I mean, I have material. I'd rather not use it personally.
You're
You got to
saving
save it for a rainy day?
Yeah,
I'd rather not use it personally.
The station runs out of power. We need some entertainment. Mike can just get up on front.
I wish I had the hotkey ready to go.
Oh, I would say drums.
Yeah.
That is.
That's Mike Rizzo, of course. A sad day. We got to do this really early, and I was been listening to stuff about it all day. And before we get into some playoff stuff and what's going on this weekend, of course, you got to acknowledge that one of the greats, we lost a good one today, Mr. Bob Uecker, Mr. Baseball himself, the voice of the Brewers for 54 years, one of the great voices in baseball broadcasting history, passed away at the age of 90. A terrific life, somebody who was, I believe, after a battle with lung cancer, a terrific figure in what sports history is, and especially for the Milwaukee Brewers and our friends over at ESPN Wisconsin. He's the voice of the Brewers. He's a integral voice of baseball. Him, Vin Scully, go down the list. There's all-time greats. He is up there. And somebody who found himself in the Baseball Hall of Fame for broadcasting, was a player, served in the Army. He is a comedian, actor. This guy did everything. And he was the ultimate personality, and he was, when the lights were on, an ultimate professional when needed be. He was somebody who didn't take himself too seriously, was one of the funniest guys you could possibly find. I didn't know him. I never had the chance. I never had the pleasure of meeting him, but I admired from afar. It's terrible. It's a terrible loss for baseball today. Terrible loss for baseball.
It is, and I know him more from Major League. You know, growing up where I'm from, we watch Major League on repeat growing up, and just a bit outside. And I remember my dad had to sit me down because I'm like, gosh, Dad, that announcer's hysterical. He goes, Mike, this is the great Bob Uecker. I'm like, who? So I got schooled on Bob Uecker at a real young age. The Johnny Carson show, Mr. Baseball. I mean, he was so much more, I feel like, than just a broadcaster and a baseball player. And I think you put it perfectly, Kyle. The baseball community today lost one of the best.
Yeah.
And we were, in our pre-show meeting, you were looking up a couple of things from his Hall of Fame speech. I mean, just a hysterical guy. I mean, to the point where he makes you pee your pants funny. So we really lost a great one.
The best part about him and how he handled himself, first of all, somebody who went on with Johnny Carson just about 100 times. And Johnny Carson, probably the best talk show host ever to live. Nobody loved Bob Uecker more than Johnny Carson. Went on nearly 100 times, 70 times, whatever the number was. And if you're going on with Johnny Carson for the better part of 100 times, you are definitely one of the great personalities. And another person, Norm Macdonald, another great comedian, loved Bob Uecker. It's all the people who have an eye for personality. They gravitated towards somebody like that. That's how great he was. And we got a couple calls here. We'll play them throughout the show. And there's a couple clips I want to get to from Bob Uecker's Hall of Fame speech. And Christian, you got a couple queued up there. He was just so funny. And the one I want to bring up first is when he's talking about his kids. Because the one thing about Bob Uecker was he played professional baseball for about 6 seasons in the 60s. And he played for the Braves, the Milwaukee Braves at the time, played for the Cardinals, played for Philadelphia. But he was never a great player. He was a backup catcher. Never a great player. Bounced around, released, the whole thing. And he always made that apparent when he was doing any sort of beat. It was always the butt of the joke that he was not a great baseball player. So we always had a great time with that. And Christian, the one about his kids. He's got 2 kids, so let's cue this up. This is Bob Uecker during his Hall of Fame speech talking about his 2 kids. Let's cue it up.
But my 2 boys are just like me. In their championship Little League game, one of them struck out 3 times, and the other one had an error, allowed the winning run to score. They lost the championship, and I couldn't have been more proud. I remember the people as we walked through the parking lot throwing eggs and rotten stuff at our car. What a beautiful day.
Throwing rotten stuff at our car. What a beautiful day.
Struck out 3 times, led in the winning run. Oh, my goodness. It's the dry satirical humor. I love it. It's so funny.
He makes fun of himself as a baseball player, but the guy made it to the show. You know, let's not. I personally think Uecker is probably a pretty good baseball player on baseball standards, but I understand like what he was trying to do with that. And Colin, like I said, one of the funnier guys you'll probably meet in the baseball community. It truly is a bad loss.
Yeah, what a beautiful day. You let up 2 runs to give up the lead and then striking out 3 times. I love that.
But you get what I'm saying? Like, he makes fun of himself for being a bad baseball player. He made it all the way to the major leagues.
But he's surrounded by all the greats. So that's how you kind of separate yourself. And I give him credit, and that's why people loved him. He was lovable. He was vulnerable in a way. And he kind of covered it up with humor, but that's why he was one of the greats. Got a couple other clips I want to jump to. Let's do the one, I believe, Christian, I have it labeled under Hall of Fame speech. And let's cue that one up. Here's Bob Uecker Hall of Fame speech.
I did not have a lot of ability as a kid. My dad wanted me to have everything that everybody else had. I think the first thing that he ever bought me was a football. And I was very young, and he didn't know a lot about it. He came from the old country. And we tried to pass it and throw it and kick it, and we couldn't do it, and it was very discouraging for him and for me. And we almost quit. And finally we had a nice enough neighbor came over and put some air in it. And what a difference.
They didn't pump it up.
No, what a great revelation that was to blow up the football. Oh, he's great. Oh, what a marvel. I love people like that. It's just the best sense of humor. It's the prolonged punchline. Oh, he was the best. Bob Uecker, rest in peace. 90 years old, a terrific broadcasting career. And to think that he was with the Brewers for all that time, ever since they were in Milwaukee. And he saw 6 playoff teams? 18 winning teams in 54 years?
Gar.
Went to 1 World Series in 82. They lost. Saw a couple great players. Robin Yount, Molitor, Ryan Braun. Yeah. Oh, he's great. We got a bunch of calls that we're going to play throughout the show, so stay tuned for that. Bob Uecker, Rest in peace. Yeah, terrible loss for the baseball community. And if you have the time, look it up on YouTube. Look it up on Twitter. All the great calls and even look up his first appearance on Johnny Carson. Goes through a hilarious bit where they're going through pictures when he's on the Cardinals, that Cardinal winning team. He's won a World Series in '64, I want to say, but he won a World Series. So, and it was brilliant. Oh, I really implore you to go check out some Bob Uecker calls on YouTube, whether during games, when he's on Mr. Belvedere, the TV show, Johnny Carson. Very funny man. Everybody's got a story about him. Everybody loved him. Rest in peace, baseball lost a good one. So sticking on baseball really quick, I just want to touch on this before we get to the rest of the show today. But Pete Alonso, actually, Mets are now preparing for Pete Alonso to shift outward of the New York Mets. And so whether that means he's going to go to the Blue Jays, but I believe a plan B is now in place because they're not offering Alonso enough money. So the Mets are going to have to reload at yet another power hitter that they're going to let walk. And with a revamped pitching staff and Juan Soto, he's going to have to wear the cape to every single game. We'll see what happens then. Pete Alonso not playing. I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, Pete had a lot of big hits for the Mets.
Against the Brewers.
Yeah, they gave a lot of big hits over the years for the Mets, and specifically this past playoffs, as you're referring to with the Brewers, Colin. The hot talk with Alonso for a long time was the Cubs. You know, the Cubs at the deadline, they were looking for a first baseman. Colin, could he switch over? I'm going to take it a step further. Could Alonso switch over to the New York Yankees? Could Alonso? Would the Yankees be interested in adding a power hitter? And I know our producer Christian Camp, big Yankee fan. I feel like there's a void in that lineup. I don't think he's not the player that Soto is.
They did sign Goldschmidt, so they'd have to figure out a way to DH.
We're really talking about Paul Goldschmidt in 2025. I understand it's a body. I understand Goldschmidt, former Gold Glover too at first base. He does a lot. But Goldschmidt's going to strike out a lot, and he's not going to give you the home run rate that he gave you 3-4 years ago.
Well, Goldschmidt's a Hall of Fame player, and
Agreed.
Because of that, you got to think maybe the heavier jersey, bigger spot, maybe it brings the best out of him.
Maybe they could platoon Alonso and Goldschmidt.
It's not worth the money, though. It's not worth the money. Then he gets Stanton.
DH first base. I understand Stanton. I don't know. I thought, nonetheless, it would make sense for the Yankees because they do kind of need some power in that lineup, especially if Stanton's not going to stay healthy and play a lot of games during a regular season.
You get Goldschmidt in there, and then there's not a spot for him there unless he wants to, loosen up a couple pounds and then stick him in left field, but we'll see.
Maybe the Giants. The Giants are always looking to make big splashes.
Yeah, Blue Jays keep being floated. I mean, I think the Mets should try to figure it out. You do not have enough power. You do not have enough 1 through 9. You need more guys in that lineup, in my opinion. But if they can't deal, if now all of a sudden Steve Cohen can't find the dollar figure that floats Pete Alonso's boat, I'd be a little surprised.
I think it's probably more on the side of, is it worth it? And I think Pete Alonso has done plenty to prove that he's worth the money that maybe he's looking for. Now, maybe he wants astronomical an amount. Maybe he wants an astronomical amount that they're just not willing to give him. Juice really isn't worth the squeeze.
Maybe. And it just goes to show, speaking of the Brewers and Bob Uecker, of course, Alonso's final big moment in that postseason was that go-ahead run that he had in the top of the ninth against Devin Williams. So a lot of people thought that earned him a contract. Somebody who was reeling in the regular season, trying to find his rhythm, and the biggest spot to keep the Mets alive hit the big one. Mm-hmm. So people thought that would earn him a contract. I was in that camp, but if he's not going to stick around with the Mets, I wonder who's going to take his place then. We got to make some picks a little later on in the show. We'll play some Bob Uecker calls throughout. We got to talk about our playoff matchups this weekend. Does Houston really stand a chance? People are back and forth on this. Is this going to be another Arrowhead Invitational, as Nick Wright would say, on the AFC Championship game? We'll get into that and more next. It's Russo Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
Palm Beach County needs your help to remain a top recycler in Florida. Our dual stream system only accepts certain items for recycling. Food and beverage cans are 2 of them. They, along with pet food cans, go into the blue recycling bin. You don't have to clean them or remove the labels. In 2023, Palm Beach County recycled 3.5 million tons of municipal solid waste. Thank you for helping to keep our community clean and green by recycling right every day, Palm Beach County. Learn more at swa.org/recycleright.
Hi, I'm Michael Manzo, owner and founder of Manzo's Italian Deli, and
Stop, Dad. After 20 years, people are tired of hearing your voice.
Yeah, and your lame-ass commercials.
Fresh prosciutto, mozzarella, outstanding.
Oh, please.
There's only one reason Manzo's is voted #1 deli in Palm Beach County for 20 years. Our mother.
She makes sure you prepare everything from scratch using only the freshest ingredients.
Manzo's Italian Deli is located on Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, right next to Rain Dancers.
Is that a strip club?
No, it's a steakhouse. Manzo's is open weekdays from 8 to 5 and offers free delivery. So stop by or call 697-9411. That's 697-9411.
we also specialize in hot and cold catering for corporate functions and special events.
Just ask anyone who was at my last birthday party.
The 2025 Defender 110 is here. Rugged, stylish, and ready for any adventure. And now you can drive home the Defender with 3.9% APR for 48 months. For well-qualified buyers, that's as low as $22.53 a month per thousand financed. Whether you're tackling the trails or cruising city streets, the Defender delivers. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach or head to LandRoverPalmBeach.com for more information.
You've got so many chances to win big on Hard Rock Bet. Even a small bet can bring in that serious cash. All you need is $1 and a dream.
Unbelievable. They've hit the parlay.
Let's go!
Big payouts for every kind of player.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Get up to $100 back if your first bet doesn't win. Payable and bonus bet up to $100, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Puts glove on knee, has a new sign from Blanco. He's ready and delivers. Morgan, a smash up the middle. Base hit to center. Here comes Gomez. Around third. A throw and the Brewers win. The Brewers are moving on a base hit by Nyjer Morgan. He's being mobbed.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Baseball lost a good one. Bob Uecker passed away at the age of 90 years old. Voice of the Brewers, basically their entire history in Milwaukee. 54 years. 18 winning seasons under that. No World Series, unfortunately, but one of the great voices in all of baseball history. Rest in peace to him. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat, as always. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3, live from the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Now, this week has been highlighted by 2 things. The playoff matchups, of course. Everybody's into Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen, and then they're all into how the Rams are the hottest team maybe in the field right now and a dangerous out, and what's going on with the coaches, of course. 2 sides. 2 types of teams. The teams that are out and looking to revamp, and the teams that are in the postseason and looking to get past the Chiefs and or the Lions. That is the caliber of teams. I think if you were to categorize these teams, Mike, I think you'd have to go the reached the top. This is the mountain you have to summit, and that's the Lions and the Chiefs, right? In their own probably category. Would you agree with this?
I would. Now, I'm willing to put the Lions there because of how they play. They haven't won anything. I feel like the Chiefs, Colin, being the team that's won the last two, having
two
Patrick
different
Mahomes,
reasons
Andy
that
Reid,
they're on it. Yes,
I think that I think what I'm saying is I think the Chiefs should be on their own echelon. But if we want to set this by conference, I totally agree.
Yeah. So that's the summit you have to climb, is that Lions team and that Chiefs team. And then I would say teams that really are in bloodbaths, I would say there's 4. I would say it's the Rams, Eagles, then the Bills, and the Ravens. Just off, I say the Rams because the Rams are hot at the right time, and they get a winning coach. Mm-hmm. So off of that, that is not going to be a walk in the park.
I think Sunday, to your point, Sunday's probably going to be the better games. Now, I didn't think the Texans stood a chance against Herbert and the Chargers, and it nipped us in the butt on a number of ways, Colin, with our punchline picks where we compete against, theoretically speaking, loser to stand-up comedy. But, I'm about to say I'm not going to give them another chance against the Chiefs. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. They're playing at home, and this is an 8-point line for a reason.
Yeah.
It's an 8-point line for a reason.
It's like the 2-4-2. The 2 unattainables, and that's the Chiefs and the Lions. Then the 4 kind of middle of the pack that are kind of racing to get their chance at them. And then I would say the Houston Texans and the Commanders are probably, and maybe a little unfair to the Commanders, but you got to call it like you see it. Probably the 2 teams that are, heavy underdogs and stacked up against them would really, really have to put together a perfect performance in order to win this weekend. That's where I would probably label those 2, and I feel like that's fair to say.
I also feel like I think the whole bye week conversation will probably come into factor again. Like if the Chiefs start out
Chiefs
slow,
haven't played an important game since Christmas.
Right. And then as far as the Lions, I think they needed rest because of the injuries.
Oh, absolutely.
I
got Montgomery back this week. David Montgomery at running back.
Agreed. I don't think the narrative there is, they spent too much time off. That's not the narrative there. The narrative with the Lions is that they're healthy again and they're probably going to be ready to go. And if this is a close game, I think it's more because of what the Commanders are this year. They're a scroungy, scrummy team that's going to be able to pull out a close game if it comes down to that. I think the Lions need to get out to a hot start in this game. I think they need to maybe go up a couple of scores to give themselves a cushion, because I think a recipe for disaster against a Commander team is to be in a close game with them in the fourth quarter, believe it or not.
Weirdly enough, let them hang around. Don't let them see the end of the tunnel. And I think that's how the Lions would most likely have to really attack them. Attack them early and often. Don't let them breathe. Don't even give them a sliver of hope, because that is a team that flirts with magic, and that's going to be an impossible place to win this weekend. But I wouldn't put it past the Commanders to just hang around, because that's what they've done all year long. And they're very good in a late game situation, 5-3 in fourth quarter comebacks this year. This is not going to be a walk in the park if you let them hang around. Don't turn it into a dogfight if you're the Detroit Lions.
You want to get up. You want to start fast. You want to get up a couple of scores early. Jared Goff threw for 4,600 passing yards. Throw the ball around early on. I understand they're a team that's dead set on establishing the run, but maybe early on, take a couple of shots downfield and try to get up early. Now, the games on Sunday, I feel like, are going to be the better ones. Like I kind of found it surprising, Colin, that they put the 2 heavyweights in the Lions and the Chiefs both on Saturday.
Well, because they had to bye. They didn't want the teams to play on short weeks.
Right. But I feel like as a fan, you might see a couple of snoozers on Saturday and then wake up Sunday and go, all right, here we go.
Maybe. You can't put them in a spot where they get the extra day's rest, and a team that plays on Sunday all of a sudden has to play on a short week. If you could avoid it, that's probably the way you do it, TV schedule-wise and also for team schedule-wise. But if there's a team that I think is probably dead in the water, I think all signs point to Houston. Commanders have a chance because they're, like you said, gritty. The Houston is the team that if they show up poorly and in poor fashion, the Chiefs 2 games ago, with their starters at least, took down the Texans in their own building. They're doing this again. So I understand it might be hard to beat a team twice, but when you get Andy Reid, who's like 21-4 coming out of a bye, you give him a month off and then give him extra time to prepare for you. This is not going to be an easy game for Houston. I think if there's a team that's dead in the water, I would probably label it up to Houston.
I'd probably have like a 24-13 score. That's probably what I would go with, a 24-13 score. I mentioned to you that I didn't think C.J. Stroud had a world breaker game in their playoff win.
And he hasn't for the better part of the year.
And I think a lot of it is offensive line. maybe we could label it to sophomore year slump, whatever problem you want to point it at. Stephon Diggs being out, fine. But he has not looked like the Stroud that we saw in year number 1, where he threw for over 4,000 passing yards and didn't even play a full NFL season. I think 24-13, maybe the Texans are able to play some good defense. Their defense did show up in a big way, obviously against Herbert and the Chargers, forcing Justin Herbert into 4 interceptions. But I think this game is where the spread is probably going to be covered. I think if I, and Colin, we got to make picks later on in the show, but if I were a gambling man and I had to put money on a favorite, it would be hard to go against Kansas City just because it's playoff time. Is Kelsey going to go in another mode? Is Andy Reid going to open up his bag of tricks and his whole other playbook he probably has saved up for the playbook? And not to mention the best quarterback in the league and probably in our era, Colin, and Patrick Mahomes.
Yep, and they got a great defense. They made people remember, they beat the Bills on that Bills with the terrible clock management earlier in the year, but that was by far the worst game of Josh Allen's this year. And he was terrible. He won like 9 of 30 that game. He was awful. So they made Josh Allen have a terrible game. If you remember, too, they escaped the game, but Goff had 5 interceptions against them on Sunday Night Football. That was another terrible game. They turned Tua over like you wouldn't believe. He had like 4 turnovers, 3 interceptions. And then last week against Herbert. So this is a defense that turns it over, and they're good at it. And Mahomes didn't play all that great, too, when they played on that Saturday before Christmas. So if that defense is going to have to cause some havoc, create some havoc, and cause some turnovers, if they have any chance at going toe-to-toe with Kansas City, that's the only way. It's the only way.
And I think Kansas City will have to shoot themselves in the foot, too, which I just don't see happening in the playoffs. And I know one of our hosts here, Kate Chumslin, he's a huge Texan fan. I know he's probably keeping receipts if the Texans keep this close and, God forbid, win the game. But you're 15-2 for a reason. You were 14-1 going into that, you were 15-1 going into that meaningless game at the end of the year. This isn't a game Kansas City loses historically.
No.
And I think the NFL is going to get their Kansas City versus obviously either Lamar or Josh Allen. Lamar and Josh Allen play each other. But the point I'm trying to make is here, I don't see how there is a world we live in, any alternate universe, timelines, whatever you want to call it, where the Kansas City Chiefs lose this game.
Yeah, they're at least in the AFC title game basically every single year. And if there's going to be a year that they don't escape the divisional, it was before Mahomes. Every year Mahomes has played, he gets to the AFC Championship game. C.J. Stroud and that anemic offense is not going to be the reason that he is not going to get to
Colin, the last divisional scare they had, I believe, was the Josh Allen game where he didn't get it at halftime. Or, sorry, in overtime because Patty Mahomes, they won the coin toss and they won the game. Yeah, Leslie Frazier. Everyone seems to forget Leslie Frazier and the horrible prevent defense that was played, but that's another topic for a day.
Absolutely. And if there's a team that I would call fire, I would express some concern. I alluded to it a bit yesterday with the consequences that are attached to the game and potentially on the Eagle side is that Eagle-Ram game. Talk about a team that nobody really wants to see right now. A risky game. Rams.
Yep.
Rams is not going to be a walk in the park. Now, the benefit is looks like the weather's going to stink. Both Sunday games, the weather is going to be snowy and cold. Probably favors the home team in both of those regards. But if there's a team that you do not want to see, momentum, offense clicking, winning franchise, a dangerous head coach in a big game, the Eagles, I would be a little nervous coming into this game, despite even being at home.
Yeah, and
maybe their eyes are set on Detroit. We got to make sure we win a road game next week. Don't overlook this team because the Rams in this spot are going to be really, really dangerous. Stafford, Cooper, Kupp, Nakua, good running game. A young, pesky defense with a lot of young playmakers. A good defensive line. Not an easy game for the Eagles. If there's a game, of course, everybody's looking at the Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen game. But if there's a game where you could call fire, a little nervous, I would label that Philadelphia game as being that.
Yep, and with the Rams, the Hall of Fame quarterback, we think Hall of Fame coach, at least in my opinion, Hall of Fame coach in McVay. And everyone's doubted him this year. That's and including myself, like the two teams that I've kind of never really gave substance to in the NFC were the Commanders and the Rams. And the Commanders, because I'm like, oh, God, can they really do it in the playoffs? Oh, God, they got the rookie quarterback. The Rams, oh, God, is Matt Stafford going to be able to do again? Oh, they got all these injuries. And both teams have found a way. And I lean more towards the Rams keeping it close with the Eagles just because of how bad the Eagles played against Green Bay. We already talked about the Lions. I don't need to go into how much of a juggernaut they are at home. But the Eagles are also a good home team, 8-1. And Nick Sirianni and the antics, are there going to be antics on the sideline? Is there going to be a play that you're going to point at and go, okay, Sirianni kind of got in the way there? Yeah. I don't think that's going to be the case, though. I think Sirianni has done a good job of separating himself from his coordinators.
I would be more nervous about the offense. I walked out of that Packer game. Yeah, they played well. And that offense, I would not label it as a big green light on how they played.
Hurts played not to lose. Would you agree?
I mean, that's his game. He's a complimentary quarterback. He played within his game. I can't even bash Hurts for how he played that game.
I'm not either, but I know Eagle fan, and I know how Eagle fan is. And they were calling for Jalen Hurts when they had, like, what were they, like 10-2 on the year? And they said, oh, Jalen Hurts is going to be the reason this team's not going to win. It's like, how could you say that? But 14-3 for the Eagles. And this year, and we talked a lot about this yesterday, of how Eagle fan is and how Eagle fan could get frustrated if they do lose this game. I think when it comes to who has more to lose right now in this divisional round, it is probably the Eagles. The Eagles probably have the most to lose just because of the head coach and everything surrounding there. And maybe even a team like Buffalo and the Ravens, Colin. I think we have two fascinating matchups on Sunday. I think there are a ton of storylines on that divisional round on Sunday, and I think we're all going to be clock watching until for those games on Saturday.
Yeah, I lean to the side in terms of that Buffalo game. I lean to the side of this is Buffalo's year. I haven't watched the Ravens and thought this is their year. This is where everything's coming together. The stars are aligning. Now, to the Ravens' credit, defense started out the year was terrible. Really responded. Now they moved Kyle Hamilton to deeper. Like they played much better. Mm-hmm. And offensively, we know how prolific they are offensively with the offensive coordinator, Monken, and the whole thing. But I never really thought they don't necessarily have the feel that this is their year. Destiny attached, magic attached. I felt that with Buffalo because Buffalo beat Kansas City in the regular season. Mm-hmm. And I think if you beat Kansas City in the regular season, that to me is, all right, that's the big leap that we need to see in order to really start to believe.
And undefeated at home. You know, Buffalo undefeated at home. I do want to say, though, I did watch Buffalo squander a playoff game in the snow a couple of years ago when Cincinnati and Joe Burrow went on that run. So we've seen it before. We've seen the Bills lose at home in a game where, you know, you'd think it'd be impossible for them to lose in a snow game and Josh Allen and whatnot. And I think the biggest thing for the Bills the last 2 years now, last year, and something that I wasn't too sure would carry over, Colin, is their run game. I think James Cook has turned into a really good running back. I think the offensive line has figured things out to an extent for the Bills, too.
Great offensive line.
And with the departure of Stephon Diggs and all the controversy there of how we might see a fall off from Josh Allen, it's been the absolute opposite. They've been able to run the ball great with their good offensive line and their good running back, James Cook, and Josh Allen has elevated everything around him, and not to mention his rushing ability, too. These are two spectacular quarterbacks. I mean, Lamar Jackson, obviously probably the best scrambling quarterback we've ever seen in the league, but Josh Allen, who probably has the better accolades passing the ball and better arm, but can also run the ball as well. This is a picture-perfect matchup.
Yeah, you get a sports.
It's a picture-perfect matchup.
You get a sports car versus a Ford F-150. You got a packed to the brim, big wheels, just pickup truck that will run you over and the whole thing. And he's reliable and the whole bit.
I mean,
a sports car. Those are the two quarterbacks that you got on either side. They play different ways, but they're both dominant.
The NFL, I think, is getting everything they want with this divisional matchup because I kind of complained about it. I complained that the Ravens and the Bills were playing each other at this point. But if you look at it at the NFL perspective, the Chiefs, who have won 2 in a row, 2 Super Bowls in a row, they're an 8-point favorite against the Texans. I mean, God, everyone's expecting them to advance, including myself. And then they're going to play either Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. Pretty good slate. Pretty good playoff slate.
Got to be happy about that. Got to be happy, pleased with what you're going to see this weekend. We'll, of course, preview it into the weekend alongside the National Championship, which is coming up on Monday, too, on MLK Day as well. We'll not be on studio, no local programming that day, but we will be talking about that throughout the next 2 days. Coaching smoke. Ben Johnson apparently to the Raiders now. You got more Mike McCarthy news to the Bears. Now, all of a sudden, this is the time of the year where we try to hypothesize into perspectives of coaches that we do not know and whether they like this job or not. We'll try our little, we'll try our hand at that. In the meantime, we're going to be giving out some tickets for those of you who are FAU basketball fans, like college basketball. Well, here's your opportunity to go to a game. FAU taking on Rice this Sunday, 1 p.m. That's this Sunday, 1 p.m. in FAU down in Boca. FAU Rice. We got 2 tickets giving away. All you got to do, call in. 888-760-3776. We were taking caller number 4. Caller number 4 is going to be getting the tickets. 888-760-3776. 2 tickets to FAU Rice this Sunday, 1 p.m. All you got to do, be the 4th caller. 888-760-3776. We'll do a little coaching drama next. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
What's the Anajar and Levine difference? When you're injured in a car crash, we focus on your case so you can focus on the one thing that matters most, getting better. I'm Glenn Levine with Anajar and Levine. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
We're getting crushed out here. What's going on with you, Nick? You used to be the unstoppable king of flag football.
I'm feeling my age. At 40, I feel like I can't keep up anymore.
Is it lower testosterone?
Lower T?
Yeah. When you turn 40, you have less testosterone. It's harder to stay lean and get the same results you used to get. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I know Nugenix. It really gives you an edge.
No question. At work, the gym, the bedroom, Nugenix turned back the clocks. Now I've got the same energy that I did in my 20s.
I want to try Nugenix.
All right, time out. Guys, go text Nugenix and get yourselves a complimentary bottle to try.
Text SPIRAL to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text SPIRAL to 42424. That's SPIRAL to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Mike Rizzo here from Russo and Rizzo. This is the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management program. Mike Vrabel, the prodigal son, returning to New England. Jerod Mayo got relinquished of his head coaching duties last week after only being the head coach for the Patriots for 1 year. He was the quote-unquote heir apparent after Bill Belichick. Well, what I think happened was Vrabel became available late last year, and the Patriots already made their bed with Jerod Mayo. Vrabel's still available. They fire Mayo, and now here we are. There are whispers that Vrabel will be making north of about $17 million with the New England Patriots. This is the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management program. Accelerate your career in sports with the program committed to developing top-notch executives and managers with a focus on the job placement for students and graduates. The FAU MBA in Sport Management program.
Hi, it's Luis Fonsi. What makes a performer truly legendary? How about being the #1 bestseller for 47 straight years? That's what Ford F-Series trucks have done every year since 1976. For generations, hard-working South Floridians have relied on Ford F-Series trucks to help grow businesses, communities, and families. A legacy of capability and technology. Ford trucks, perfect for South Florida. See your local Ford dealer today.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Big congratulations to Alan over in Wellington. 2 tickets to FAU Rice this Sunday. He is going. Congratulations. That was caller number 4. Giving out 2 more tickets next hour to that same game, FAU and Rice, this Sunday. So stay tuned for that if you want to get free tickets to those games. Stay tuned. We'll do that a little bit next hour. Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat. As always, got a lot of giveaways today. It should be a whole lot of fun. But you heard it. The Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. If you've been in a car accident, truck accident, or suffered a slip and fall, it's time because my friends, Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine over at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys, they're here to fight for you. I know with Anajar and Levine, they got my back no matter what. They don't charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve. Listen, they're the best in the business for a reason. Why risk it? Go with the best in the business. Demand Anajar and Levine today. That's the Anajar and Levine difference. All it takes, one phone call. Take back control of your life. Don't wait. Call today. 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Take back control now with Anajar and Levine. So, basically, in the new carousel of coaches, a couple names floated around. Aaron Glenn allegedly likes that Jet job. Why? I mean, I couldn't tell you. Apparently loves that Jet job. Ben Johnson picking up steam to the Raiders. I don't know if I see that one.
I think it has a lot to do with how maybe the Raiders might be turning over a new leaf as far as organizational.
So Brady?
It has to be. That's the only reason why he would want to take that job. And they have money. You know, you could go out and spend money and fix the team to your liking. And not to mention, they don't have the quarterback figured out. Ben Johnson can handpick the quarterback. I think there's something to be said about an offensive guy like him wanting to handpick the quarterback and the system that they want to run offensively.
Yeah.
I think there's something to that because Chicago already has Caleb, and he's not going to be able to have his pick of the litter of a quarterback. Now, I mean, I personally think Caleb is probably a quarterback you'd want to coach. Would you agree? Wouldn't you want to go there and coach Caleb? It doesn't even
sound
Williams?
like the Bears or that. It sounds like it's between Jacksonville and the Raiders. But if you're the Raiders, let's think about this for a second. You're going to be coaching the AFC West. Broncos have a coach and a quarterback settled. Chargers have a coach and a quarterback settled. And then we all know what Kansas City is. I understand you don't necessarily run from the competition, but you got to think logically here. As long as Reed and Mahomes are there, they're going to be flirting with 13 to 15 wins every single year. You really want to jump in on that? There's too much margin for error. I don't know if...
I think would you agree that's the lone place he can make his handprint on, though? Like mine.
You'll get your hand, I guess, but like I don't know if that's really what Ben Johnson... Is that really what he's thinking? I would just want this to be the Ben Johnson franchise, and you're not thinking about anything else? The Raiders stunk. They were terrible.
One of the worst teams in the league.
They didn't have a good offensive line. They had a couple playmakers. They got lucky with Brock Bowers. I mean, they weren't consistent. Defense stunk. Couple good wins here and there. But that team, it's not like that team is ready to, turn over a leaf like you said.
They probably need the most too. Like out of everything and all these teams that are looking for coaches, they probably need the most top to bottom.
And that means you need to
hit.
That means your general manager is going to have a lot of pressure that first draft. You're not in position to draft a top-tier quarterback, so you're either going to have to make a decision in free agency or take a flyer on a rookie. And then all of a sudden send your rookie and play the Denver Broncos defense, the Chiefs defense, and the Charger defense 6 times in a year. Is that really what you want? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's just... Call it the Jacksonville fan in me. I just don't see it.
So as a Jacksonville fan, is Ben Johnson your number one?
That's my number one.
Okay.
That's my number one.
Probably would be mine too.
I got to think to sell it for 2 seconds. As long as they could shift away from the general manager, and it sounds like they're going to listen to conversations if a coach comes in and makes demands like that. Trent Baalke, the Jacksonville, retained him at general manager, which is a god-awful move. Don't even get me started. Terrible ownership. Awful. But if they could shift on from him, you still get your pick of the litter at bringing in a front office guy. Florida, it speaks for itself in terms of a selling point and living in Florida. You play in it's not a good division. Colts, turmoil. Titans, turmoil. Texans, not as great as people say. So off of that, you have a quarterback figured out. You have money to play with.
You have an edge rusher, too, with Walker.
You have a couple of edge rushers. You have 2 edge rushers, in Allen and Walker. This is, to me... I would be surprised if he went elsewhere, really. And I would understand the Bears, but if he's not considering the Bears, and if the Bears want to go to McCarthy, which is basically where the steam's picking up, Mike McCarthy to the Bears, I cannot imagine that's going to feed the fans the appetite for a new guy.
I can't believe McCarthy. Now, I say I can't believe it, but he won 7 games with Cooper Rush, so maybe that's why. But I honestly, I can't believe Mike McCarthy's getting this much steam in the head coaching vacancies. I can't believe teams are interviewing him. Do you really want to do the Mike McCarthy experiment?
Well,
Another
the one
team
thing
is
about-
going to sign up on McCarthy
To a
again?
point, probably gets a bad rap.
Because of the Rodgers stigmatism.
No, it's just like that. Yeah, a lot of expectations with the Cowboys. They won games. They didn't win in playoff games, but they won games.
Am I fair to say Rodgers ran him out of town in Green Bay?
Yeah, I mean, they needed a change of pace, and they shifted on from him. But, I mean, that guy's got the same resume as Sean Payton. And everybody thinks Payton's the next coming, and we want to throw McCarthy to the Wolves.
McCarthy's a no-nonsense guy that would be able to maybe bring stability to the Bears. That's one thing I think he would do is make them less of a joke and maybe more consistent.
Maybe it's a safer pick.
It is, and that's probably what they need. But you got to look at the quarterback who had a lot of things to say on the St. Brown podcast. Nonetheless, if you didn't see this, guys, Caleb Williams went on I'm on Ron St. Brown. Sorry, he went on his podcast and basically said what he wanted in a head coach, and he said, selfishly enough, I want. Christian, play the song. I got the song.
Selfishly, I want an offensive-minded guy so I can build with him and, be with that coach for the next 19, 17, 15 years. And so I can also learn and grow and, things like that from him and what he's seen and what he's gone through with, maybe other QBs or been around.
So, Colin, if I can, on one end with the Bears, you're a mess organizationally. You need to fix your house. And then on the flip side, you got a young rookie quarterback who played well at times, but I know you hate when I say this. He didn't pass my eye test. I didn't think he was the reason that they were in these games half the time. I think he played them out of these games, even some of the games that they won. He had good numbers. He looks promising, but you got to figure two things out. You got to figure out the quarterback. You got to figure out the organization. Can Mike McCarthy do both of those things?
Well, one thing for sure, quarterback's done. You're not changing that. So if they can play better on the field, yes, but they're not changing that.
I'm not saying they are either, but I think you got to bring in a guy who's going to be able to talk his language too.
And McCarthy's an offensive-minded guy, so there's opportunity there. He has had success with high-level quarterbacks. Got the best out of Dak.
It's a big question. Can he answer both? I don't know if he's going to be able to speak to a quarterback like Caleb. I think Caleb is a little different on a couple of levels with
How do you mean?
Listen, I don't put a lot of stock into the nail painting thing or anything like that, but he's a different bird, Colin. Would you agree? I think he's a different bird.
He paints his nails. So what? I think Mike McCarthy can't speak to him. Who can?
I think Mike McCarthy is a no-nonsense football kind of guy. Is Caleb Williams going to respond to something like that? That's all I'm saying.
So you're insinuating because he paints his nails, he's a nonsense guy.
I'm not insinuating because he paints his nails, Colin.
That is what he's insinuating.
I'm not insinuating.
You're a nonsense guy.
Listen.
That is what you're insinuating.
Listen, I think Caleb needs a long leash. I think Caleb needs a long leash with some of the stuff that he does. I don't know if Mike McCarthy is the guy to get through.
But just what? Painting the nails? He's not drag racing. He's a personality driven.
I think Ben Johnson, a younger-esque kind of guy, would go in there and be able to speak the verbiage and language that Caleb Williams would want. I mean, my God, he already answered a phony call. I mean, what are we talking about here? He already answered a phony fake call and thought Ben Johnson was coming to the Bears in the middle of the season.
So because he got prank called saying it was Ben Johnson, Mike McCarthy cannot speak with him.
No. I'm not saying that, but
that is what you're saying.
I think he's parading what he described there. This sounds like Ben Johnson to me, but
maybe
what he said there sounds like Ben Johnson. I don't necessarily think Mike McCarthy can't talk to a quarterback and isn't a quarterback whisperer. As you said, he got along with Dak. He won his Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. I'm not trying to kind of lower I'm not trying to go to the lower the credibility of McCarthy. McCarthy darn near could be a Hall of Fame coach, okay? But I just don't know if he's the right fit for a quarterback like Caleb Williams.
It seems like a safe pick. That's my perspective on it. In terms of upside, I'm not sure if the Bear fan is going to be appetized by the idea that Mike McCarthy, who I guess for all things considered didn't get it done with Dallas, had success but didn't get it done. I don't think he's leaving the previous job on a poor note, on a sour note. That's not necessarily the most appetizing thing you want to see on a new job. It doesn't mean he can't have success, but there's just something to be said there about your exit and how it plays in relation to your new entry at a new job. But to the same token, you're taking a little bit more of a flyer if you go for a guy who has never commanded a locker room before. And if they are under the impression that the Bears need leadership and the Bears need a proven commodity that knows how to handle any type of locker room, then McCarthy might make a little sense. But to the same token, it's conservative.
Yeah, and make like the biggest thing I want to get across with the McCarthy, possibly to the Bears, make them respectable again. Make them a respectable organization that is going to consistently win football games week in and week out. Are they going to win in the playoffs? That's a whole nother conversation. But at least they're going to be competing. At least they're going to be in position to go on a run in the playoffs. I know you kind of laughed at this when I said it the last time, but Minnesota had the season I thought Bear fan and the Bears organization thought they were going to have, competing in the division and in the playoffs. I understand 14 games is insane, Colin. But I thought, nonetheless, the Bears were going to be that third team out of that division with Green Bay and the Lions. It turns out that wasn't the case at all with Matt Eberflus messing up timeouts. And turns out, guys, shocker, Matt Eberflus didn't have the locker room behind him like everyone was telling me in the offseason.
And, he got fired, so he's out. But, I mean, I'm not going to sit here. That was the media running with the expectations that they're going to come in and win Super Bowls immediately. They had the number 1 overall pick. I understand it was traded in. There's something to be said about that. They had the number 1 overall pick 2 years ago. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I'd be surprised if they went McCarthy, but I understand the philosophy behind it, conservative. Now, Ben Johnson, if he decides to if he has his pick of the litter and he decides to go to the Raiders over what the Bears and the Jaguars have to offer, I'd be a little surprised. I don't necessarily see the upside there. I don't necessarily see the connection there unless he is buying to whatever Brady is selling. That might be the only thing. Whatever Brady is selling, he is buying. So if there's something there, then maybe. But he seems to be the next domino to fall with Vrabel off the board, that Pat's job off the board, Aaron Glenn locked into New York. He wants to jump on that train, be my guest. Don't want to deal with that.
Well, the Jets have also interviewed every candidate possible.
Credit to Tannenbaum. He is getting his paycheck. He is earning that paycheck.
He really is, man.
You are earning that paycheck.
That's our guy.
Earning that paycheck. God, I'm surprised Mike and I haven't gotten interviews.
Now, Colin, as far as head coaching vacancies, I want to ask you something because I have not heard anything about this job, the Saints. Who wants that Saint job? It's like they are the afterthought to the afterthought. They are the afterthought to the afterthought to the afterthought.
Yeah. It's not my perspective on that job. It's you're kind of waiting for the other dominoes to fall before, and maybe they know that. Maybe they know that you got to let the other dominoes fall where they may, and then you kind of make a decision off that because you don't, and I'm sure they know this, self-awareness, do not have the most desirable position
right,
due to where that team is and where they're heading and financial situation and everything like that. It's a good organization. It's a good city. It's a franchise that has seen success, but I think they're maybe waiting for every the other dominoes to fall. But if that means waiting for the Lions to finish up their Super Bowl run,
good luck.
Get comfy.
Yeah.
Get comfy. Whoever that is, whatever that may be. Christian, Kat, your takeaway, who will take that Bear job if you were to decide today? If you had to make a guess.
If I were to make a guess, I would go McCarthy. I think it makes sense.
Safe.
Yeah. That feels like the correct move because the Bears have had anything but stability at that position, and McCarthy provides that.
He does, but is he the right guy for Caleb Williams?
You know what? I'm a Mike Tannenbaum guy through and through.
Okay.
And he said the number one mistake GMs are making across the league is getting a coach just to fit the quarterback.
Well, I think this is a different situation, though. I think the Bear situation is different because they've been tortured by bad quarterback play forever. This is a number one pick, too. So this could be Bryce Young all over again.
You're not selling me that they wouldn't have a good marriage. You're not selling me to any point that it wouldn't work.
Listen, buddy, you got to be an adult. You're on a team. 22 starters. You're one of them. Yes, you're the most important one of them, but the coach is for the team, not for the player.
We agree there is some disconnect between the offensive coordinator who got fired last year in Chicago and probably the head coach.
Okay.
There was disconnect last year. We got to make sure that doesn't happen again this year.
Yeah.
That has to be a motive for the Bears. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, so you need
and McCarthy's that guy.
So now you're sort of being sold a little bit to the idea.
I'm being sold the idea that McCarthy will be a no-nonsense guy, and you like that.
He gets the rocking out of the ship.
He does, but at the same time, is Caleb going to respond to coaching like that?
If he doesn't, then you ship Caleb somewhere else, because if you can't work with the coach that has won a Super Bowl, then that's more reflective on you than it is the coach.
Agreed.
That's our takeaway
Agreed.
there. We're going to give away some more tickets later on in the show. We're going to do a little 5 and 5 coming up on the flip side of things. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
The Cleveland Orchestra returns to Miami for a thrilling weekend of concerts. Violinist Sayaka Shoji joins the orchestra on the stage in Night Concert Hall to perform Beethoven's Violin Concerto. An evening you won't want to miss. January 24th and 25th at the Adrian Arsh Center. Tickets at arshcenter.org.
Hi, I'm Michael Manzo, owner and founder of Manzo's Italian Deli, and I...
Stop, Dad. After 20 years, people are tired of hearing your voice.
Yeah, and your lame-ass commercials.
Fresh prosciutto, mozzarella, outstanding.
Oh, please.
There's only one reason Manzo's is voted #1 deli in Palm Beach County for 20 years. Our mother.
She makes sure you prepare everything from scratch using only the freshest ingredients.
Manzo's Italian Deli is located on Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, right next to Rain Dancers.
Is that a strip club?
No, it's a steakhouse. Manzo's is open weekdays from 8 to 5 and offers free delivery. So stop by or call 697-9411. That's 697-9411.
We also specialize in hot and cold catering for corporate functions and special events.
Just ask anyone who was at my last birthday party.
The 2025 Land Rover Discovery is here, ready to take you wherever adventure leads. Lease the Discovery for just $829 a month for 36 months with $69.95 due at signing, or finance at 2.9% APR for 60 months. Luxury, capability, and style combined in one powerful SUV. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach in person or online at LandRoverPalmBeach.com. Offer ends soon.
Banyan Printing, your trusted printing, mailing, and signage partner in the Palm Beaches for over 45 years. Banyan Printing's new metallic ink press adds that extra shine so that your product comes out in glossy gold, sparkling silver, or any other color you want to shine. Banyan Printing is the official printer of Kaiser Athletics and would love to be your official printing partner as well. Order products and learn more about what Banyan Printing can do for your business at banyanonline.com or call 561-586-6220.
Bet live with Hard Rock Bet. Real-time wagering till the very last play. Missing the kickoff doesn't mean all bets are off.
Delay a game on the guy who hasn't bet yet.
Sometimes you just know your team is going to come back. The sportsbook for every kind of player.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Get up to $100 back if your first bet doesn't win. Payable and bonus bet up to $100, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Anajar and Levine. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Hey, golf fans, Colin Russo here. Looking to improve your game? Flagstick Golf Performance, the ultimate indoor golf experience, is now open in Boynton Beach. With 3 indoor simulators and a state-of-the-art putting studio, Flagstick helps players at all levels up their game. Get lessons from experts, try the latest clubs, or just come up for a round in the simulators. You can track your stats and see real improvement. Flagstick is where serious golfers and beginners find their edge. Bring your friends or family and enjoy golf like never before. Visit flagstickgolfperformance.com to book your session.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that wants to learn more about careers with Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
At St. Lucie Battery and Tire, batteries came before tires. We've been selling and servicing all types of batteries for over 50 years. So when you need a battery for nearly anything, we have it, as well as the fast professional installation you need. We carry premium batteries for all your needs: automotive, commercial, marine, RV, and specialty. We also offer delivery and on-site installation, serving our customers quality products for over 50 years in the home of honest, reliable service. Go to slbt.com and book your next appointment.
on ESPN 106.3. You heard? South Carolina cut down the nets in the NCAA women's basketball tournament.
It is perfection for South Carolina. 38 wins and their third national championship.
This is ESPN 106.3, where champions are crowned.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees in the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 20 national championships, including the 2024 Women's Swimming and Diving Championship and 2023 football, lacrosse, and men's swimming and diving titles. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in. Ball game, Rizzo!
Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Rolling on here, second hour of Russo and Rizzo over on ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat, as always, live from the City Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. A beautiful Thursday, the 16th of January, 2025. Hypothesizing on what coaches think and where they want to go in the coaching carousel in the NFL. And, of course, a big slate this weekend for the divisional round. You got the two with the bye playing on Saturday, and then you got two heavyweight matchups between the Ravens and the Bills and the Eagles and the Rams coming up on Sunday. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to do. 105.5 coming up in a few moments. Bob Uecker passed away, the longtime voice of the Milwaukee Brewers, one of the great voices in broadcasting history, especially on a local level, and one of the great personalities that baseball has in its repertoire. Passed away, sadly, at 90 years old. A great life. We got a bunch of calls that we'll play in just a few shorter moments, but the number to get into the show today, 888-760-3776. Any thoughts? 888-760-3776. Even if you're a Bob Uecker fan, want to hear your best story. But we shift to the phone lines. We got Dustin in Illinois joining us now in Russo and Rizzo. Dustin, what do you got for us? What do you got?
Yeah, I just want to say first off, hey, Rizzo, Peoria misses you, buddy.
Yeah.
D. Honorary VP of the Bears fan club. It's been a while.
I know, man.
I just want to say,
good to hear from you, partner. Appreciate you calling in. What do you got, man? What do you got with the Bears? Who do you want? What's the pulse out there right now?
Yeah, so I think Mike McCarthy would be an awful idea. I know that he has some accolades that are great. However, I feel it would turn into another John Fox hire, or possibly just in another Eberflus carousel. We have a consistent problem of rebuilding these teams halfway, and then we start over, and then somebody else comes in. We need somebody new, fresh, that I think can be respected a little bit more. Plus, as a Bears fan, I don't want to see a Packers coach in my building.
It's fair enough. That's fair enough, partner. Now, where are you at with Caleb? Don't you think Caleb kind of needs a strong personality in there for him to take the next step? You don't think McCarthy could do that either?
I agree kind of with what you said. He needs a bit of a longer leash, and I don't think McCarthy's the guy.
This sounds to me more like it's anti-Packers than it is about McCarthy. Am I right on this?
Yeah, I would like to see maybe a Pete Carroll over McCarthy, just the building up the whole team, building up the morale, getting a real culture in there. I think he would do a far better job.
All right. So
if we don't get Ben.
But what about what you said about half building? And the Poles is hanging around. So wouldn't you consider this, regardless of who you hire, a half rebuild?
In a way, I think that his hands may have been tied a little bit coming into it, and kind of wanted to give it a little bit of time to see what's up. But I think he has the right mind frame. I think he's made some great moves up to this point, minus not getting rid of Eberflus last year. Might not have been 100% his fault, but I think they have a chance to kind of really get a good base going at this point.
Now, Dustin, you said might not be his fault. Have you and Jimmy figured out what Kevin Warren does for the team yet? It's clearly not building a stadium, right?
No, or a parking lot for that matter. We're still doing the 10-mile walk. But no, Kevin Warren, I think that's a whole long another conversation. I wasn't too impressed with his job prior to that, but as I've heard, he is the successor possibly to Goodell. I don't know the validity of that, but just kind of buckled in for now.
All right, good call, Dustin. Appreciate you chiming in there. So you want to shift towards more of an established voice for morale, Pete Carroll. That makes a lot of sense. I don't hate that job at all. Pete Carroll's a little older, so that I don't know the time period on that and how long he really wants to coach. But I don't hate that idea. I'm just not sold on the idea that McCarthy, for some reason, wouldn't mesh with what the Bears are trying to do. I'm not saying he's going to go in there and win 30 games in 3 years and win 2 Super Bowls. But I see both sides. Would I rather Johnson? Yes. But is McCarthy a conservative, quote-unquote, safe hire? Probably. Honestly, yes. Yes. 888-760-3776. Where should the Bears look for head coach? Let us know. 888-760-3776. Bob Uecker passed away. A tremendous voice on baseball. We got a couple calls here. I want to listen to the Ryan Braun call for Christian Cat. Take a listen to Bob Uecker. I love this call. One of my favorites.
Ryan Braun is going to be the batter now. All right, here we go with Ryan Braun. The pitch to him. Swing and a drive. Left center and deep. Get up. Get out of here. Gone for Ryan Braun. And they've got the lead. Wow, what a shot by Braun. It's his 37th of the year.
Get up. Get up! Get up! Get out of here! I love that. That's one of my favorite home run trademarks. Get up! Go! Get out of here! Oh, great.
Just willing the ball out of the park.
Love it. Love it. Bob Uecker, rest in peace, 90 years old, passed away, 54 years with the Brewers, 6 playoff teams, 18 winning seasons. One of the great voices in baseball, one of the funniest guys with all the talk shows. All the comedians loved him, and comedians don't like people. Comedians loved Bob Uecker. But Christian Cat, of course, our producer on today's program on ESPN 1063. Time for us to jump around the sports world a little bit. Let's do a little 5 at 5.
Number 1.
Well, you mentioned it, Colin, Mr. Baseball. Bob Uecker passed away at the age of 90. Uecker was a longtime play-by-play man for the Brewers, former Major League Baseball catcher, and celebrity. Johnny Carson famously coined, "I'm Mr. Baseball" on his show, and also the play-by-play announcer in the movie Major League. What will you remember Uecker for?
His personality. He's a great broadcaster, but it's his personality that, in a lot of ways, separated him because it made him he was such a versatile person for media. He was funny on talk shows. He was funny on TV. He had moments in movies. He was a great broadcaster. He was a player. You could get him anywhere. He had some raunchy jokes that he was a high flyer with that. He's versatile, but it's his personality that really is going to prevail.
Dynamite dropping money. I mean, it's got to be Major League for me. Growing up in Cleveland, it's got to be that for me. I told you my story with him. I'm like, Dad, I was really young watching Major League. I go, Dad, that announcer is hysterical. And then my old man continued to tell me who Bob Uecker was. For me, it's Major League, and I understand that's not everybody's perspective on it, but that was the first time I ever heard of Uecker. And turns out he was a world-class citizen, one of the funniest guys on the planet, and a superstar. I mean, Colin said it. Not everyone gets to go on the Johnny Carson show back in the day, okay? And if Johnny Carson likes you, 100 episodes and calling you Mr. Baseball, you're doing something right.
100%. Number 2.
Well, according to NFL reporter Ed Warder, Deion Sanders would almost certainly accept the Dallas Cowboy head coaching job if Jerry Jones offered him the gig. Is Prime to Dallas getting some serious legs no longer a rumor?
I mean, that's not getting reported unless Prime is dropping a little nuggets here and there saying, hey, at least throw my name in the hat, right?
That's like in elementary school where you tell a friend to tell the friend of a girl you were interested in, hey, if she kissed me, I would like it. Or, hey, if he asked me out, I wouldn't say no.
Right.
And we're doing the telephone game over here, and they're beating around the bush.
Deion, just call Jerry. You got his number. Just call him.
They've already spoken about it.
Now,
What do you need the media for? Just call Jerry.
There were reports today. Kellen Moore apparently going to be getting interviewed for the Dallas Cowboy job too. So it seems like Jerry just isn't interviewing his best friends. I know Kellen Moore, wasn't he the offensive coordinator under McCarthy?
A number of years,
Yeah,
yes.
for a couple of years. So dare I say, he might be one of Jerry's best friends, but you get what I'm saying. It's not Jason Witten and Deion Sanders. This is actually a guy who I think other teams have interviewed as well. So something interesting to keep note of.
He likes that to build that business. What better business is Deion Sanders? Attracting eyeballs. They're not playing in any 1 o'clock slate games if they get Sanders. Let's put it that way. Number 3.
Number 3.
Matt Gagan of CBS is reporting that Bill Belichick reportedly has not signed his contract with UNC, and that school officials are worried he might tuck tail, go to the NFL. But on the flip side, Pete Thamel of ESPN, he's reporting Belichick signed
Mike Prefer.
Yeah, NFL special teams coach to his UNC staff and veteran SEC O-line coach. So he's making moves for UNC already, but hasn't actually signed his contract yet.
Is anybody actually buying this?
I'm not. I think it's probably something for press clippings, for clicks. The popular theory, the reason I put this right after the Cowboy stuff is the popular theory he's going to go coach for Jerry. I don't believe it. I think he gave UNC his word, and Michael Lombardi, Colin, took it a step further and shut all of that down earlier. I probably should have added that in there as well. But a pretty reliable CBS reporter in Boston was reporting on this, which is why he was head-scratching.
Yeah, Michael Lombardi is, of course, the general manager
sorry for the no contact.
of North Carolina football. And he comes out and says, hey, Bill's recruiting right now. Bill's like going to high schools. Bill's not listening to the Raiders pitch. He's not doing that.
I probably think it's a money thing. Would you guys agree?
Or it's a paperwork thing, man. I hate doing paperwork. And I think Bill Belichick and myself are very alike. So that's what I see.
You don't think he wants to deal with the logistics of going from the UNC job to the Cowboy job? So because he doesn't want to deal with a resignation paper?
No, I was thinking he just hasn't signed his UNC paperwork because it's annoying and logistical.
Kids high school players are already committing to Belichick. You don't sign Mike Prefer, who is the special teams coach in the NFL for about 15 years, if you're not going to coach the team. I can't take this serious, guys.
Yeah, there's nothing to it. Nothing to it. I mean, I don't know why you'd run with it, because the whole point is to get his son a job, and the whole point is to get that son lined up to be the head coach. They have nothing to hold that against if Belichick decides to walk.
That's like we're in the age, not the age, but the time of year where college football fan bases are speculating whether or not their team is hitting the portal, hitting the NFL, returning to their team. And it's like, well, this guy's not signed up for classes yet. So we can buckle down on his academics. I think he's hitting down to the portal or he's going to the NFL.
Colin, Bill Belichick, man, he didn't get his, he didn't sign up for Psychology 101 yet.
Right. Stupid. He's renting his house in North Carolina. He didn't buy one. So,
his 1099 has not been filled out yet.
No. So he hasn't done all the tax paperwork that he needs to do.
Do you want to know what it is? Jerry made the call.
Yeah, there's nothing to it. I mean, if Bill Belichick leaves, he's going to leave UNC in shambles. So what's the point? Number 4.
Number 4.
Caleb Williams went on the Amon-Ra St. Brown podcast and revealed what he wants in a head coach.
Officially, I want an offensive-minded guy so I can build with him and, be with that coach for the next 19, 17, 15 years. And so I can also learn and grow and, things like that from him and what he's seen and what he's gone through with, maybe other QBs or been around.
That's what Caleb Williams had to say on the Amon-Ra St. Brown podcast. Are the Bears going to screw this head coaching search up for the 1, 2, 3 countless time?
Yeah. I mean, all signs point to them probably making a mistake. So what are we supposed to think? That I think if you're going to do a complete rebuild, similar to what Dustin from Illinois had to say, if you're so interested in a complete rebuild, then Poles should not be there. So you can't go halfway, and then all of a sudden when they do a conservative hire at head coach, you can't. Who are you going to blame here? So at some point, you're going to have to sort of think reflectively on what really type of rebuild you were looking for. But I'm more on the team of they're probably going to make a mistake. Yeah, I would bet the money's on that.
Let me chronologically go through this, okay? Nagy fired. Pace fired. You bring in Bill Polian and a whole bunch of guys to find you a GM at a head coach. All right, they find you a GM. But you don't let Polian and company pick the head coach like they were supposed to. Poles picks the head coach. All right, we're going to bring in Kevin Warren to build the stadium. Actually, we're going to give Kevin Warren some football powers. Actually, Matt Eberflus, he had a pretty good year. We're going to keep him around. It's the middle of the season. We're going to fire Matt Eberflus. Ryan Poles, we don't know if he's the guy. Kevin, do you think he should be around? Kevin Warren thinks he's going to be around. Ryan, you find the next head coach. Of course they're going to screw it up. This is what they do. They're a mess. And I blame the owner. I blame the McCaskies. So, guys, Virginia McCaskey, her father was Papa Bear Hallis, okay? So it was Virginia Hallis, married into the McCaskey family. Now it's the McCaskies team. It's on the owners for bringing people in, reporting to different people. No one knows who they're reporting to. No one knows who's doing what on the football side. That's a mess. That's a mess. You're never going to be good. You're never going to be good if nobody knows what the hell they're doing with their job and who they're reporting to who and whatnot. They are going to screw this up, and they're going to screw up Caleb Williams, and it's unbelievable.
Number 5.
Number 5.
This is something I'm hot on. Karl Anthony Towns wore an Eagles shirt on the bench. He's a Knick playing against the 76ers. However, in the second half, he had a change of heart, and he changed his Eagles shirt for, well, his team shirt, the Knicks shirt. Is this a bad look for Karl Anthony Towns?
Are you anti-Karl Anthony Towns here, Mike?
No. If I was an athlete playing in Cleveland, I'd probably have some sort of Brown or Cleveland gear on. Grew up rooting for those teams.
Hold on a second. He's playing in New York.
It's like me, like I said. It's
like some respect for the team that employs you and the fans that root for you.
Say if I played for the Detroit Pistons, okay, and I'm in Cleveland, and the Browns are in a playoff. They got a big divisional round coming up. We wear some Brown gear. I wouldn't put it past me. But I wouldn't be a phony and change at halftime. I would have just owned it. It's a phony. I have a problem with him doing one thing and then going the other way. Brother, you wore the shirt already. We all saw it. Just keep it on. Now, maybe a Knick representative came up, you got to take that shirt off. Fine. But I thought it was a little phony that he went one way and then flip-flop.
Christian, you seem to be anti this.
Yeah. Like, there are a couple of cities out there that have all of the 4 major sports. Don't wear anything in that case. You can wear the Eagles shirt in your own leisure. A different day in a different city. When the Knicks are playing the Pistons, wear your Eagles shirt. Not when they're in Philadelphia. That's just disrespecting the fans that pay a lot of money to watch you.
He's a big Eagle fan. He wants to get in on the action.
He can say whatever he wants. He can do whatever he wants.
He's
except
not playing.
Sport those colors in that building.
He plays basketball. He's on the basketball team in New York. He's not wearing a Sixer jersey.
He's representing a city.
Shirt, Colin. He's not wearing a Sixer shirt.
He's representing a city on the basketball court there. And the city is going to battle with Philadelphia in all those sports.
He went to the games in Philly. I don't see a problem with this. My problem is that he switched the shirt.
I'm kind of indifferent, too. I understand your point that there's a respect to the fans. Respect to the fans means you show up and play most games, and he has. So in the NBA nowadays, if you show up and play, there's the respect.
This standard is lowered so far.
Yeah, the bar is low. I agree with that. The bar is low. But the bar is you show up and play. You give us 60-something games, 70 if we're lucky. You give us that, there's your respect. And you play well, and he's having a great year. So off of that, sitting on the bench, playing a Sixer team that's terrible, with the Giants are terrible. It's not like all 4 teams are great. If all 4 teams, the Giants, the Sixers, the Knicks, and the Eagles were great, then yeah, maybe there's something to it. But the Eagles are great, the Giants stink, and the Sixers stink, and the Knicks are great.
And the Jets stink too. I just wanted to throw that in there.
So off of that, there's no rivalry. There's a rivalry between cities, but there's no, this year specifically, channel it in rivalry. We hate everything about them. I don't think there is that.
But they had a great series last year.
True.
Those 2 cities went to battle.
True. But so what are you going to do? Are you going to boo Towns next time you see him? Before or after the game or during the game?
You'd give him some crap. Yeah.
So what? And I'd give it right back to you. I grew up rooting for that team. The hell with you. I play basketball. I can root for whoever the hell I want in football.
Some things used to be sacred, and these guys just sport stuff that looks fashionable and it matches their shoes. That's what it felt like.
It's a nice shirt. No problem. He's allowed to do that.
Colin, you share my same cross to bear with not rooting for teams that are all in the same city.
Okay.
Do you wish that you were one city? It'd be so simple and so easy if we were just an all Philly fan or an all New York fan.
Yeah, it would be nice. Geographically, if you were in that city too, would be nice. Because if you're in Philly and you could go to all the games in a 1 square mile area south of Philly where they have the Lincoln Financial and Citizens Bank and then Wells Fargo. They have all that right in the south of Philly in like this 2-block radius. It's fantastic.
Yes, I found it for the first time.
Isn't it great?
It is pretty cool.
Great.
They share parking lots with Citizens Bank and the Link.
It's fantastic. So off of that would be nice.
That's how it is for the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse and Progressive Field.
Right, they're right next to each other.
They're right next to each other. They called it Project
basketball.
But the Browns is down by the water.
No,
the Browns is down by the water.
Yeah, it is, but it's not far at all. It's like a 3-minute drive down East 9. So everything's by drive. Boys, I loved it. I loved growing up where there were never any problems. Like everyone always asked me in Peoria, Riz, who's your second team? The hell, second team? The hell are you people talking about? Who's your NFC team? I have an NFC team. The hell are you talking about?
Yeah, geographically it makes sense in terms of going to games, but I like
it culturally.
Yeah.
Riz, who's your NL team? What? What are you talking
I like
about?
having my own thing, separating from that.
But you can't share.
I hate the New York fan. I hate the Boston fan. That's what I grew up around.
But you don't have another person in your life who roots for the same teams you do.
Maybe there's somebody out there, but you're right. I know.
There's pride in it. I'm not going to lie. There's a tremendous amount of pride in it, blind loyalty, and delusion.
It's
a mix of, Colin, it's a mix of pride, blind loyalty, and absolute delusion. Absolutely. And I mean that.
Culturally, you think you're missing something because you're not like a New York sports fan.
It's not a complete sports we. You're a complete team we or sport we, but in total, all
like
the
the Philly
major
fan,
sports.
you can't shift from Eagles season right into Sixers season, right into.
Right, it's like, yeah, well, at least we've got the Eagles when the Sixers are bad.
Yeah, it's so that everyone's saying that about the Cavaliers right now with how bad the Browns are, and then you got the Buckeyes too. It's good to be a Northeast Ohio fan right now.
I understand that. I don't wish I was a part of a Boston fan club or New York because
to hell with those people.
It's just they're pretty. It's difficult fans to deal with. Difficult fans to deal with. It was always we're Boston and you're not if you're Boston, and New York. I think New York's gotten a little better, but especially years ago, oh my God, you never heard the end of it. Knicks, Rangers, when the Giants were solid.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was you never ending. And then the Philly's self-explanatory. Philly's the worst fan. They're god-awful fans.
They coined a new term, like in terms of sports fandom, 4-for-4 Philly fan. Oh. Yeah, all 4 teams, 4-for-4. That's they love saying
I can't
that.
Take that. Colin, we talked a lot about Philly fan. What was it, yesterday?
Did you see the Philly fan with that Packer serious. Lady in the crowd? And they doxed him and they found out where he worked. They found out who he was and they fired him.
I'll stick up for Philly. I feel like there's someone in every fan base that's like that will give you a hard time, that will get drunk, that'll be nasty.
It's always them and the Raiders.
That gets recorded, yeah.
It's always them and the Raiders.
But listen, scumbags are dime a dozen in sports fandom. Let's call it what we see.
They're in every fan base.
Yeah. I guess some people are up and down on the fact that, the guy got fired because of it. But that guy was saying some nasty things to that couple, that Packer couple.
How did I miss this?
How did I miss this? He was using bad vernacular, and he was unrelenting.
Just on him and on him and on him.
It was a guy and his girlfriend or his wife, and it was to the girl. You don't do that to a female Packer fan. You don't say that. Right. He was saying some very egregious things. And then they found where he lived, and they found where he has a daughter. Like, dude, how does a guy like that, who is a father, has a wife and a kid, treating other fans like that? It was nothing about the Packers. Let's put it that way. Yeah. It was nothing about the Packers. Calling her ugly and gross and other words with that. Oh, my God.
Was he sauced?
I hope. Honestly, I hope.
Yeah. He was speaking pretty clearly in terms of what you saw.
But the fire from the job thing, I think where I lie on that is depends what the profession is. Because, like, if you're, I don't know, if you're just doing any type of job where it's not harming anybody and you just happen to be a jerk, like there's jerks everywhere and jerks got to work. So, what are you getting fired for? But if you're in charge of people's kids, like there's different kind of
did they debunk clearances. Did they debunk what he does?
Was like, I think a consultant or something.
Got a pretty high level job.
It was a high level job.
He had a LinkedIn profile.
and they fired him. So, I mean, that's the cancel culture thing all over. But like if he's that type of guy, I'm usually not the type. You say one wrong thing and people are out on you. But that was a little much. It was a little much. It was a little egregious. It was not a victimless crime. It wasn't a victimless comment. Let's put it that way.
Vile, boys? Is that a good way to...
Yeah. And this guy was saying some nasty things. Oh, my God. To a Packer fan, too. The Packer fans are... Now, the one thing about this is apparently that Packer fan, there was a guy and a girl. Apparently the guy put up a GoFundMe before the game to get tickets to the game. It was a GoFundMe like, hey, I want to go to Lincoln Financial.
I hate the guy now.
I want to see. He's like, I know what I'm going to deal with. And it was basically like, I'm going to walk into the Hornets' nest and I'll be fine. And then you see the guy filming, and at least, dude, switch seats with the girl.
Yeah, seriously.
Because the girl was on the closer side. The guy was behind them, sitting behind them to like her back right. And she was getting berated. And this guy was filming it, of course.
Did he try to defend her honor?
Well, hold on. Like, now, this part I agree with. What are you going to fight the guy?
You're right.
You're gonna get jumped. You're in a Philly nosebleed seat. You're going to get absolutely destroyed. So off of that, I agree with not being confrontational in that regard, but at least switch seats.
There are many actions you can do to diffuse social conflict at sporting events. There's a lot of them, and they never should come to blows. They should never get physical, ever. There's never a reason. And he didn't do any of them, and it snowballed. Thankfully, no one got physical, and it didn't snowball further than just words, but it was weird.
Yeah, it was a little. And so the Eagles found him, banned him from the stadium, so he's not allowed to go back to games, and they fired him. So he lost everything.
That guy can get in if he wants to. Hey, friend, buy the tickets. You think they got casino facial recognition for guys that count cards at the link? I don't think so.
Hey, C-Cat, he lost everything because he got sauced up in the parking lot before the game and said a couple of nasty things.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I mean, we probably should hate the guy.
I don't like. No, hold on. Listen. I'm not the type for a cancel culture type of guy. But, I mean, he was saying some nasty things. There's a certain thing when you're just saying things and
to strangers that you just met.
But, like, if you're saying something out of context and people want to cancel because of that, that's another situation. Yeah. But if you're going outwardly, he was outwardly berating this one Packer fan, and she was like, leave me alone. It was a little rough.
And listen, I wasn't defending the guy. I was just nonetheless saying.
You haven't heard what the guy said. You didn't see the video yet. You can't judge till after the break. How about that?
I was nonetheless saying, like, be careful what you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, especially a Packer fan.
You got to be careful. Dude.
Easiest fans to deal with in the world. Boy, I wouldn't. Yeah, it's always the Raider game, Ram game, something like that. Speaking of Los Angeles, of course, those terrible wildfires that have been going on in the Southern California area, the Los Angeles area, the Palisades area. We wish those who know people out in the West Coast, we hope that you and your family's okay, got out if you need to get out and evacuate. But there's a lot of damage to the area. There's a lot of destroyed communities, destroyed neighborhoods, destroyed homes. People have lost everything, but you could get involved. And you could go help these people over at the Red Cross. Mike can tell you where to go.
Folks, if you're able to help, as Colin said, please help people affected by the California wildfires. Donate at redcross.org/ESPN. That is redcross.org/ESPN to help the Red Cross respond and help people recover. That is, one more time, redcross.org/ESPN.
Giving away some tickets. We're going to be giving away tickets to the FAU Rice game this Sunday, 1 p.m. FAU Rice men's basketball this Sunday, 1 p.m. 2 tickets. For those who are interested, guess what? All you got to do, call in. Fifth caller, 888-760-3776. Call 888-760-3776 to get some free tickets to FAU Rice this Sunday, 1 p.m. Call in. Caller number 5. We'll announce who it is after the break. 888-760-3776. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Lithium batteries and products containing them need to be disposed of properly. When a battery enters the waste stream, it becomes damaged and the lithium inside can be exposed to liquids and high temperatures, causing it to become highly flammable. We've seen these fires in recycling and garbage facilities here in Palm Beach County. Don't throw your lithium batteries into the garbage and don't put them in your recycle bins. Do your part and a fire won't start. For proper disposal locations, visit us at swa.org/LIB.
The South Florida Fair is almost here. Buy your advance tickets now and you can save up to 50%. Plus, if you use your discount admission ticket on opening day of the fair, you can keep it and visit the fair another day courtesy of Publix. That's 2 days of fun for the price of one.
South Florida Fair discount tickets are on sale now at Publix and online at southfloridafair.com. Fair opens January 17 in West Palm Beach.
Mike Rizzo here from Russo and Rizzo. This is the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management Program. Mike Vrabel, the prodigal son, returning to New England. Gerard Mayo got relinquished of his head coaching duties last week after only being the head coach for the Patriots for 1 year. He was the quote-unquote heir apparent after Bill Belichick. Well, what I think happened was Vrabel became available late last year, and the Patriots already made their bed with Gerard Mayo. Vrabel's still available. They fire Mayo, and now here we are. There are whispers that Vrabel will be making north of about $17 million with the New England Patriots. This is the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management Program. Accelerate your career in sports with the program committed to developing top-notch executives and managers with a focus on the job placement for students and graduates. The FAU MBA in Sport Management Program.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or bradleyair.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
Good people. It's your boy Theo Dorsey, and it's playoff time, so it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your games all playoffs on Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Think Lamar Jackson will get more than 250 passing yards next week? Will Patrick Mahomes pass for more than 1.5 touchdowns? Cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this football season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code THEOD to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's code THEOD and get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Pitch to Molly. A swing and a base hit to right. 39 straight for Molitor on the first offering from Kenny Schramm.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Legendary broadcaster Bob Uecker passed away sadly today at 90 years old. A legend in the business. That was his call of Paul Molitor's 39th game in a row with a base hit, which is top 7, I want to say, in MLB history. All things considered, including like the Ty Cobb years and everything like that. 39 games, pretty impressive. But Paul Uecker had a great call for that one as well. Playing calls throughout the show. Love Bob Uecker. Lost a good one, baseball did. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat on ESPN 106.3 from the City Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. We got to make some picks against the spread. Punchline picks where we compete against Theoretically Speaking, which you could hear 2 to 4 weekdays on these very airways. Theo Dorsey and Christian Cat and make picks against the spread. We usually pick 6 a week throughout the NFL season. And we're in the final week. This is the final week before we decide who wins, who loses after tracking the records all year long. And we have, I believe, a 4-game lead. I will double check.
I'll take your word for it.
A 4-game lead. We are only picking 4 games this week alongside a lock. A lock is worth 2 points. So you can either tie it up or take the win. you would need us to go 0-5 and you 5-0, or you would need to go 4-1 and us go 1-4 to tie it up for a tiebreaker. I believe.
Yeah.
You've made 4 picks. Have you made your 4 picks against the spread, Christian?
We haven't. We're gotten really apathetic. We're looking at the Titanic as it is drowning, and we have tickets on the Titanic. That's our only way out of here.
Okay.
So we're kind of on the writing our stand-up set.
You don't have a lifeboat spot, no.
No. Women and children all took up all the seats, and the fellas are getting cold.
I want to remind...
Not the chef. The chef's not getting a seat on the boat.
No, thankfully I've got this violin that my buddy, who's actually...
You're the band. Yeah, the band in the ballroom. Yeah, you guys are not getting a spot.
What a movie, by the way. What a movie.
Only seen it once.
Too
really
long.
Good.
Too long.
Really. Come on, stop it. You're a movie guy and you don't like the Titanic.
Yeah, it's too long.
What do you mean?
It's a good movie. There was room on the door. There was room. Jack could have squeezed on the door. In the water, there was plenty of room.
Yeah, I didn't know there was nudity in that movie. Watched it with my mom.
Oh.
I was like, geez, what's that about? No one tells you that when you pop it in the VCR.
Because it's 5 hours long. There's so much in the movie.
People are asleep at that point.
It's a good movie,
That's
though.
the midpoint nap of the movie.
I don't think it's too long. I don't think it's too long.
All right. We got to make some picks against the spread. Let's blitz the book, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Send some heat. Pin your ears back. It's time to blitz the book. Presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Blitz in the book, presented by Hard Rock Bet. Try it now. Get up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not hit. That first bet can be a parlay. Prop, the over, any game you like, whatever game you choose. You either win your first bet or get the same amount you bet back as a bonus bet. Hard Rock Bet offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida. The wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. 1-888-ADMIT-IT. There you go. 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Triple eights.
All right. I used to do 1-888-ADMIT-IT. Whatever.
And
1-888-ADMIT-IT.
And C-Cat, I picked up on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, time for us to make some picks. We're making 4 picks this week alongside a lock. Over-unders point totals are fair game. And we have a college game on Monday. And it has to be football. So we got 4 divisional games to choose from and a national championship game. Mike, is there anything that's screaming to you immediately?
I think we take Buffalo +1. Would you agree?
I would, if I had to put my money somewhere, I would bet Buffalo to win as well.
I think we put Buffalo +1 at home in the snow. Josh Allen's statement game. I know this is going against everything we probably want because we want Lamar Jackson to go deep because we are Palm Beach County natives now. But I would go with Josh Allen +1.
I would go Buffalo as well. Josh Allen's a proven commodity in the postseason, unlike Lamar. We know Lamar's a great player, but chip on your shoulder, probably getting edged out of the MVP race. Josh Allen is at home, snow, favor Buffalo. I like that. They already beat them early in the year. It's hard to beat a team twice, especially after you killed them the first time around. All right, Buffalo +1. We like that. Any other spreads that are singing to you?
Chiefs.
The Chiefs are -8.5 home against Houston coming out of the bye. You want to take the Chiefs here?
Kind of do. Here's the problem. I'm not very strong on it. I hate over-unders. That's my problem. I can't predict the over-under to save my life.
Okay.
So if we are going to pick an over-under, I want to rely on you for that. The other 2 spreads I would take: the Buckeyes -8, Chiefs -8.
Do I really want to root for Ohio State to win by 10 points in a game that I hope is close?
We're 2-0 we're undefeated with the Buckeyes in the playoff. We took Tennessee, actually 3-0. We took them against Tennessee. We took them against Oregon, and we took them against Texas.
We didn't take them against Oregon, did
we?
Yeah,
you did.
Yeah, we did. We're 3-0. We're 3-0 with the Buckeyes in the playoffs. But I trust me, I get it. 8's a lot. I'm the only Buckeye fan in the building. I understand you guys want a good game. We don't have to take Ohio State.
I like the Chiefs 8.5. I'll take that.
Okay.
You want to do Chiefs? All right, if anything,
I'm big on
let's
the
touch
Chiefs.
the over and let's root for.
I'm big
45.5 is the number over-under for that Ohio State Notre Dame game. I would take, personally, the over.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
We got burned with the under last time.
We did.
I'm not rooting for a terrible game.
Fucked up game. I will say, I think Notre Dame is going to take that playbook that Texas had on Jeremiah Smith. I think they're going to try to limit him as much as possible. And Colin, you told me too, that Gray kid, and I saw it up close and personal with the final interception in the game. He's a really good corner, and I think he's going to be matched up with Jeremiah Smith.
It's 2 great defenses, but if you're rooting for a close game, or if there's going to be a close game in any sense, there's going to be some points scored in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Now, this game could be a blowout. It could be Ohio State winning easy. And all of a sudden, if it's 34-7 and we're sweating out a final touchdown, then we're going to be in a tight spot.
Right.
This game more favors us.
You're banking on Notre Dame scoring against Ohio State's defense.
14 points. 17 points.
Ohio State, 17, 21, and 14. That's what they've given up in 3 games in the college football playoff.
And they've scored points in that regard at that. So if they're going to score some points, you're going to get a lot of possessions at the very least.
40. The Buckeyes put up 42 times, Tennessee and Oregon, and 28. Obviously, it looked like 21, but thank God for Jack Sawyer. So I'm okay with the over. We could lock that in if you want, partner. 45.5, you said?
I don't know. You want to lock that? All right, let's make our fourth pick. So we have Buffalo +1, Chiefs -8.5, over 45.5 for the national championship game.
Yep.
In terms of total
And then we
points.
need one more. And I'm sorry, when I meant lock it up, like us taking it, not our actual lock. That's on me.
All right. So the Rams are +6, Commanders are +9.
You want to take the Rams? I could be talked into the Rams.
It's gonna be snowy.
It is, and also I could be believe it or not, I could be talked into the Lions. We'd be taking a lot of giant spreads though. We'd be taking 9.5 and 8.
I am more comfortable taking the Rams +6 than I am the Lions -9.
Okay. The Lions have covered big spreads with us, but this is a playoff game. So I'm okay with taking the Rams as well.
All right, let's do it.
And you've kind of convinced me that this is going to be a game throughout the week as well, with how the Eagles played against Green Bay and the bad mojo that loser Philly fan was screaming at a Packer.
Good point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, Maybe there's something there.
Right.
All right, Rams +6. National championship game 45.5 over. Chiefs -8.5. Buffalo +1. If I were to lock one, I would say Kansas City.
Okay.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
We can do Buffalo.
No, I want to. That line is one in favor of Baltimore for a reason. I think there's a great chance Baltimore walks in there and walks out with a win. I like the Chiefs. I think the Texans. Can't believe I'm going to say this. I know our host here, Kate Chumslin, who's a big Texan fan at ESPN 106.3. I know he's probably recording this in his car, but the Texans are lucky to be here. You know what I mean, C-Cat? He's recording this in his car, but the Texans are lucky to be here.
Cade's like Steve Buscemi in Billy Madison at the end, where he's got the list and he applies the lipstick, where he remembers all these names that count out the Texans.
Yes! Dude, Colin, we were live at TGL, and Christian, I forgot what I said. He pulled up the sound of...
The Chargers beating the Texans.
Yeah, he pulled the sound of me saying how I think the Chargers would cover that 2.5 spread. And I'm like, oh, God, only Cade. Honest to God, only Cade.
Andy Reid, 27-4 after the bye.
Straight up.
You know they're going to win, but are they going to cover? 8.5. This is a tricky game, but I think if there's a game where Kansas City's finally going to open it up, you got to hope that they don't come out a little flat. They haven't played a month. But I'm not going to doubt. I'm not going to doubt them now. It's not time to doubt them.
I'm not doubting them either, and I'm counting on that defense at home against a horrible offensive line for the Houston.
I'm pretty sure we just need to get one of these. We just need one of these.
Yeah, we need one game. We literally need one game
to clinch it.
I wrote this down. You guys were 65-63-2, and we were 70-60. 65-63-2 is basically 66-64.
Yeah.
So that's a 4-point lead, and we went even last week.
Okay, cool. I thought we were dead in the water. Turns out we have a rock, and we're clinging to the rock, and the rock doesn't float. Don't get me wrong.
There's a door. The Titanic just sunk. There's a door. So there's only one of you guys is going to stay on.
So, Christian, let me get this straight. You haven't grabbed the violin yet?
No.
Okay.
In fact, I beat it over the head of a guy. There was one seat left. I killed the guy to my left.
Yes, the band found a door, and they're on the door. But now Theo and Christian are now going to need to decide.
And how about us, Colin? Theo is a Chief fan. Now, Colin thinks it's phony. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. But the Chiefs are Theo's team.
Right.
And we locked them and took them.
Exactly.
See,
so we can't pick them.
You guys should have made picks, dude. You should have.
Hold on. Theo said you guys, if you were smart, you'd fade every single one of these.
That's what I'm saying. We got to do a blind fade. These are coin flips. Don't get me wrong. That's why the spread is there to make it a 50-50 chance.
Statistically, your best chance is just to fade, do the opposite of everything we just
Yes,
did.
it's easier to win 4 coin flips than it is to make our own stuff and win 8 coin flips. So I think what we'll do is fade every single one of your picks.
You got no choice. Is there anyone that you hate that you're taking that we just took?
Probably the Texans. Like, honestly, you made the right move in locking the Texans, because I obviously think the Ravens are going to win, but that's just blind bias. It's a pain, but it's true. It's implicit.
You think the Rams are going to compete in Philadelphia?
That's when I'm comfortable taking the Eagles. If we were doing picks and we didn't know who you were taking, I would probably lean towards the Eagles in that game, because I'm tired of being on the wrong side of Eagle covers. And they win ugly, and they cover the number,
right?
And no one's happy on either side. It feels that way.
Yeah.
Like the Eagles are going to win 17-10.
The fans are not
and
happy.
The fans are going to hate that result.
There's something to that. And over under 45.5 in the national title game. I think that's just, you're going to have to root for no points.
Yeah, that feels like the public play would be over in that game, because people know that Ohio State offense, and they know the names in that offense more so than the names in the defense. So not rooting for points in that game kind of stinks.
You're rooting for Notre Dame to actually show some life in that first half.
That's true. If that game goes under, Notre Dame probably covers. I think that's where you go. If you want to put a parlay down on Hard Rock Bet, I think a smart one would be either parlay Ohio State and the over, or Notre Dame and the under.
You need a dogfight. So, but for us, though, if Notre Dame scores some points, Ohio State can blow it open at any moment. We know that.
But,
so honestly, if Notre Dame gets a quick 10 points, that might help us. Because all of a sudden you could get 30 points.
No offense, guys. I don't give a damn about over-unders. That's why I wanted to take the Buckeyes to -8, because I'm hoping it's 65-0.
I take offense.
Yeah, honest to God, guys. I'm hoping the score is 65-0, and we dominate and win our 8th national championship.
Congratulations, George in Boynton Beach, for getting our FAU tickets to Rice this Sunday, 1 p.m. He won our tickets that we were giving away earlier in the program. And, of course, for those of you who know people out in the West Coast, or you're watching from afar, the Los Angeles area, especially the northern part, the Palisades area, the valley has been ravaged with wildfires, of course, and communities destroyed, homes destroyed, people who have lost everything. You could get involved. You could go help them. You could really make a difference in terms of helping them, whether from afar, you know them or not. They need our help now. So for those of you watching the coverage and you want to get involved, Mike can tell you where to go.
If you're able, folks, please donate at redcross.org/ESPN. That is redcross.org/ESPN to help the Red Cross respond and help people recover in the Southern California area. Once again, redcross.org/ESPN.
Closing out the program next, sending you off into your Thursday evening. It's Russo Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
It's the new year, and new mini plans are available for spring training at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium. 3-game mini plans are now available for Marlins Mondays and Cardinals Tuesdays, starting at just $75. These mini plans are the perfect way to maximize your spring training experience and make your weekends longer. 4-game and 6-game mini plans are also on sale now, starting at just $100. Visit RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com or stop by the ticket office today and purchase your mini plan. We can't wait to see you at the ballpark.
I'm Ellie Anajar of Anajar and Levine. Injured in a car crash? Never rush to settle with insurance companies, and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine. Our experienced legal team will fight to win you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call me, Ellie Anajar, for a free consultation and take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Improve your golf game fast at the all-new Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center has the facilities, tools, and coaching you need. Enjoy the best facilities in the area with an expansive chipping and putting area, practice bunkers, a huge putting green, plus a 2,000 square foot indoor training area with 3 hitting bays, cutting-edge analysis technology, and more. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center in the heart of Palm Beach County off I-95 and the Turnpike. Find out more at KaiserGolfCenter.com.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Close out the program here on a Thursday edition of Russo and Rizzo live from the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Catt, as always, joining us on ESPN 106.3. Big weekend ahead in the divisional round and the national championship in college football between Ohio State and Notre Dame. Now that we're into this part of the season, it's one of the better weekends of the year in terms of sports. There's no better time, really, to get started over on Hard Rock Bet. Go download today on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. Go to hardrock.bet to get started now. If you're not the type to bet a lot of money onto each game, be the type that puts parlays together. Little as $1 up to 20 legs, increase your value. And go check out the Discover page because there's a ton of different parlays there that other users build that you could tail in just a few taps. That's how easy the app is. That's how easy it is to get acclimated as a newer sports gambler or an experienced one for that matter as well. For example, Week 6 of the NFL season, a bettor in South Florida, $1 on a first touchdown score parlay. That's 5 different players to score the first touchdown in their respective games on Sunday. Turned a $1 parlay, 5 legs, into $40,000. Did it on Hard Rock Bet. So can you. Go get started now. Get up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not hit. That first bet can be a parlay, prop, the over, whatever you like to bet in a game you choose. You either win your first bet or get the same amount you bet back as a bonus bet. It's Hard Rock Bet offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in front of the wager. Terms and conditions apply. Considered by gambling. Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. Are we at the point in the week where Mike is all nervous about Ohio State and he's talking himself into a hole about how they're screwed and Notre Dame's going to come and the Irish, the luck is going to prevail?
None of that. I did tell a couple of fellow workers here at ESPN West Palm, the thing I'm worried about, I've denied Notre Dame at every turn this year. I had them dead in the water after NIU. I never recognized their schedule. I never thought they played anybody good all year. I thought they would lose to Indiana. I thought they had no chance against Georgia, even with the backup quarterback. I never thought Penn State was going to lose that game last Thursday. So that's what I'm worried about. Did I talk myself into a shoot on this microphone all year long about how much Notre Dame stinks, and they're going to prove me wrong? Marcus Freeman, former Buckeye, by the way, second team All-Big Ten back in 2008 under Jimmy Tressel. There are a lot of things in this game that stink. But the one constant that there is, I think this Buckeye team was really angry after the Michigan game. And I think they were set out on a mission. And Ryan Day talked about how they called the Woody. Guys, the Woody Center is is where they have the football stuff. Ryan Day said, we all looked at each other in the Woody and said, we could do something here. We could either lay over or die or win the whole doggone thing. And I hope that's going to be the case. I wanted to take the Buckeyes with 8. I think there's a great chance that the Buckeyes cover that. And we took them all 3 games. I think we're doing ourselves a disservice.
I'm not rooting for a bad national championship game. I understand 3-0, but I'm not here. That's not that important to me. I would rather watch a good game than get that one bet. That would be my takeaway. Okay. I would not have a good time rooting for that.
I think it is. I think that 8-point spread is ridiculous, though. I think it should be lower. I think the Buckeyes are going to win by like 7 points.
So wait. So why should we take 8? Why should we take 8 points if you think they're going to win by 7, Mike?
Speaking it into existence.
Why we do it? Oh, my. Thank God we're taking the over in that game instead.
Speaking it into existence.
All right. Christian, who do you root for that one?
He hates Ohio State.
I've got an outfit for Tuesday morning when Notre Dame pulls it off.
What? That was Mike. That was Christian. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Back at it live from the South Florida Fair on Friday on ESPN 106.3.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss